What's up, guys? Reapshow here. So today I'm going to be ranking every death of Michael Myers from the worst to the best. Now, I will be approaching this list from the mentality of, if I were to watch each of these films on their own, would I believe that Michael Myers was dead at the end of them? I will also be doing a ranking of every resurrection of Michael Myers. Keep an eye out for that one. Let's just get into this here. I've got 7 total deaths, starting off at the very bottom of the barrel. Number 7, Halloween 2, 2009. Now, the reason for me that this one is at the bottom is because of how anticlimactic the death is. I don't hate this death, and I would honestly say I don't really hate any of the deaths. The reason this one's just at the bottom for me is it just feels, like I said, the scene really gets drawn out. He's unmasked for almost the entire scene, and it just feels very anticlimactic. I just hate the fact that he takes his mask off, says die to Loomis, kills him, and he just dies in a firing squad. And they all really die, Loomis and Laurie. So, like I said, it just feels a little pointless. You know, obviously you get that last scene with Laurie, you know, essentially in the netherworld or whatever she's supposed to be in, which is interesting, right? But when you're just looking at the scene itself, it feels a little pointless, right? So that's why it's at the bottom for me. I do enjoy the film, but never been a big fan of the ending. Number 6, Halloween 4. Now, I love Halloween 4. One of my favorite sequels. Love George P. Wilbur. Not as big on him in 4. Wouldn't say it's really entirely his fault. It's just the way the design of Myers is in this film, with the hockey pads, with the mask being terrible, right? He feels very stiff, very Frankenstein-like. Obviously that works in 2 for me, right? But here he just feels very stiff and mannequin-like, right? And that's one of the main reasons I am not a big fan of the way this death scene plays out, right? You know, they're shooting Myers. It's like a firing squad, similar to 2, right? And he just falls back real stiff and just goes through this, apparently a mine shaft. It felt more like it was kind of just like a part of the foundation of like a garage or shed or whatever. It didn't really feel like it was a mine shaft when you watch 4, right? So I don't like the mechanics of the scene. I don't like the way Myers falls back. You know, the like firing squad angle. Never been a huge fan of that with Myers. I think that kind of works more for like Jason, but you know, him being kind of out in the open like that, you know, just never been huge on that. I prefer more of the contained, you know, death scenes that are a little less huge, you know, in terms of being such an action scene, right? And that is why it is at number 6. Number 5, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2007. I really like the contained nature of it. The reason that it's not high, I love how brutal it is, and there are a lot of aspects of Rob Zombie's Halloween that I do enjoy in terms of the aesthetic and overall mechanics of it, right? But the reason it's not higher is because you don't see actually what happens, right? You see the blood hit her face, but I would have liked to have seen more of what actually happens to Myers, right? And that's why it's not higher. If I could have seen a little more of the aftermath, I would have probably had it a little bit higher. Number 4, Halloween 2, 1981. Now, I really love this death scene. I love the fact that Laurie shoots him in the eyes. He's still coming. They blow him up. He is engulfed in flames, and he's still coming for Laurie, right? Ultimately, he's succumbed by the flames, and he collapses, right? And this feels like a definitive end to Myers, so we thought, right? Just absolutely love the visual of Myers being on fire, coming after Laurie. It's one of my favorite steelbooks of Halloween, where you get this visual of Michael just walking like engulfed in flames. Absolutely love that. I have a poster of this that it came with when I originally got it. Absolutely love that visual. Such an awesome Myers death scene, and that is why it is at number 4. Number 3, Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers. I just love that Tommy Paul Rudd just beats the hell out of him with a frickin' pipe. You know, I don't love like the green ooze, but you could say that that's what's coming out of him because of what they like, you know, injected him with, right? But really love the brutal nature of it. I mean, there's not many times where we see Myers just get beaten down to a pulp, right? You see it in Halloween Kills, but that doesn't really seem to be, you know, what ultimately gets him, right? The ending is a little bit confusing in both, I would say, honestly, the theatrical and the producer's cut. It makes more sense in the producer's cut, but it's less climactic in the producer's cut. So, you know, honestly, like a master cut would be what, you know, I would honestly prefer. But I've always really enjoyed that death scene. And like I've said before, I'm biased to the fact that I love Halloween 6. It's always had a soft spot in my heart. Number 2, Halloween Ends. Now, I really enjoy this death scene. The fact that it's, you know, really drawn out, I think does work to its advantage because they really want to definitively kill him. This is Halloween Ends. This is the end of Michael Myers, right? They want to definitively kill him. They want the entire town of Haddonfield to witness it, right? This is a definitive end. There are no questions, right? And I think that they do achieve it, right? I think it's pretty impactful. You know, the fact that she not only, you know, slits his throat, cuts his wrists, and puts him in like a grinder, right? And I think that it's always tough for me to see Michael be definitively killed. It's tough, right? But I think it works, and I think it's pretty impactful. And that is why it is at number 2. Number 1, Halloween H2O. Now, this is 100% my favorite Myers death scene. I love the quick, definitive nature of it. I love how we get the John Carpenter original theme at the end there. I just love how quick, simplistic, and final it feels, right? You know, you compare it to Halloween Ends, and they're literally like polar opposites. One is quick, definitive, and there are no questions, as there aren't really any questions with Ends, but Ends is literally completely drawn out. It takes a lot longer. They really soak it in. H2O, she cuts his head off, and it literally ends, and it's like, it just packs a big punch. And I wish I could have seen this in theaters because I'm sure that got like a huge reaction, right? That is such a badass Myers kill, and it's, I don't even ever see it being topped in the number 1 spot for me. H2O is not my favorite Halloween film. I'm not even a big fan of it, but the way they kill Myers is awesome, right? And I don't really look at Resurrection as honestly a continuation of that story. I've never looked at it that way. So I don't think about, oh, it's a different guy and she, you know, she was fooled by Michael, and I don't buy that for a fucking second. Like, that is not my headcanon. It may be canon, right? But I don't know. It just doesn't it doesn't bother me because I don't really ever consider it part of that timeline, right? Even though it technically is. That is my ranking of all the deaths of Michael Myers. What is your ranking? What are your favorite deaths of Michael? Let me know in the comments. Stay tuned for Halloween, The Rise of Michael Myers, where I rank every single resurrection of Michael Myers. That's it for now. Stay tuned for more. Peace, guys.